And now the end is near.
And so I face the final curtain.
Oh, it's the end of ADHD Awareness Month. What a month.
Honestly, I've got nothing left in me. I'm so exhausted.
She's sitting here with her eyes half shut.
Yeah, I'm really tired now.
Oh,
It's been so amazing though. And how amazing was ADHDF Day? Like, honestly, to see everything, see leopard print spread across the world throughout the day. It was just incredible. Thank you so much, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you, Laura, because I'm just in awe of you. Like, first of all, hurdles, because you couldn't bloody leave Aberdeen.
I couldn't leave Aberdeen. It was so stressful.
Because of the bloody winds and the roads being shut, and you got yourself down to Edinburgh, then did your stuff in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Flew down to London, did your stuff in London, and then right back up the next day. Cracking on with it again.
And then this wonderful blether, our last community blether as a duo.
Yeah.
It's funny though, isn't it? Because when we recorded this, there's a bit and I proper cry. I thought I was going to have to leave the room because I was proper crying. And we sit here now and it doesn't feel like you're going at all. We know that this isn't the last time we're ever going to record. We know. Yeah. So it's the end of this chapter and it's the end of this era. But it's not I don't feel sad. I think the added bit is that we're actually neighbours and friends. So I'm literally going to see you probably tomorrow. You're going to come around for dinner next Tuesday. It's funny.
That's it. It's not an ending. It's a new beginning.
Yes.
It's just that we're carving our own paths.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. It's neither one of us is doing this in spite of the other person.
No.
We're doing this for ourselves.
Yeah.
And in doing this, it's actually helping both of us.
Yes, absolutely.
It's beneficial to us both. And I think that's the important thing.
Absolutely.
But this is a long one, so we should probably just...
Yeah, shut up, really.
Yeah, we're so excited to share this with you.
Yeah, and just so grateful to everybody who came and to everyone for their support with the Make It Count campaign and ADHDF Day and just who has supported us from day dot, really. Yeah. There are some of you that have been there from the very start, and thank you for all the lovely messages we've got as well.
Yeah.
Everyone's been so supportive, and honestly, we just can't say thank you enough.
Yeah.
So here's to the community.
Here is to the community.
In a shit ADHD Awareness Month, what is good is the community. That's what we have is each other, and thank God we do.
Fucking right. Yeah. Sorry, swearing, but it's so true. This community is everything, and that's why I'm staying part of it regardless. I'll still be here.
Yeah.
Right, let's go.
Let's go.
ADHD has females, ADHD AF. ADHD has females, the podcast.
We did it for the acronym.
Hi, I'm Dawn.
Hi, I'm Laura, and we are ADHD AF. Seriously.
Well, that feels like a lifetime ago.
Doesn't it just?
Since that recording in May 2022, we have been on quite the safari.
Mm-hmm.
We moved to the same street at the same time, at the same age, with the same undiagnosed neurodevelopmental condition. But despite all of the serendipity and the similarities, our ADHD presents completely differently from each other. But make no mistake, it is equally debilitating for us both.
Over the course of season 1, we used our voices to raise awareness, break the stigma, and share our experiences in the hope that they help others. And unbelievably, it worked, leading us to help listeners in almost every country in the world and creating ADHDAF live events and an online peer support community, for all of which we're so very grateful. Despite all that, we're still just two rebels with a cause, having a blether from a tiny village on the beach in Aberdeen, Scotland. Two pieces of sea glass washed up on the same shore.
Trigger warning. We cover some triggering topics, so please read the description of each episode before listening. We're not medical professionals, therapists or coaches. We're not qualified or even emotionally equipped to offer advice or support. We're only experts by our own experiences, which we share alongside what we discover in these crucial conversations to raise essential ADHD awareness amidst a global crisis. We won't always get it right. We will talk over each other and forget the point mid-sentence. As we continue to unmask, we're attempting to unashamedly own our own too muchness.
We wear leopard print to our events because the leopard is a symbol of Aberdeen. It also symbolises bravery, courage, and the reclaiming of power. Plus, we're a little bit Han.
Yeah.
So that's why it's become the uniform of our leopard print army, our own special camouflage to unite the community.
We're called ADHD as females purely for the acronym ADHD-AF. Get it? Because we both have a juvenile sense of humour.
And we swear like sailors. Sorry, mums. And of course, we're ADHD as...
Anyway, this is an inclusive space where all genders are so very welcome.
Yes, they are. So join us as we continue to make some serious noise about this misunderstood condition to help others like us alongside raising awareness with a hope to influence systemic change so that those in need can be treated both medically and with the respect they deserve. We continue on this safari because hell hath no fury like two late diagnosed ADHD women.
ADHD as females, the podcast.
Welcome, everybody.
It's the last day of ADHD Awareness Month.
Yeah, what a month it's been.
What a month. Yeah.
And it is Donnie's last co-host podcast in this form. It's the end of an era. We're super grateful to all of you for joining us to give her a good send-off. And it's our wonderful community member Sara's birthday. So happy birthday, Sara. Thank you for sharing it with us. You know we can talk till the cows come home, but we want to hear from you. This is your episode, our wonderful community, and we are so grateful for your support. And it would be wonderful for you to share with us something that you want to for ADHD Awareness Month for our listeners.
Yeah, so we're just going to work through you guys one at a time and hear what you have to say. So let's take it over to you guys.
So should we start with the birthday girl?
We will start with the birthday girl, Sara. Happy birthday, Sara.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here to see you all. And my name is Sara. Currently, I'm in Hamburg, Germany. You know, this is important to me. And ADHD Awareness Month, I have been really aware of my ADHD this month. What I wanted to share with you is something that keeps spinning in my head. It is stuck. My ex-husband told me once that ADHD is not everything. It can't be all about ADHD. And I answered to him that it is to me. It was at that time. Everything was ADHD. And I'm so glad and happy that I was able to speak for myself and stick with that truth, because ADHD and the diagnosis changed my life. Getting to know myself changed fundamentally who I am, everything in my life for the better. And this is my core message. Accepting the diagnosis and being able to have this can do so much for you. So can be so beneficial for yourself. And I love myself now. I'm 36 years old today, and this is the first birthday that I'm really myself and can truly be myself. And I wish this for everybody out there who is struggling and isn't able to find that truth or that diagnosis. And thank you so much. And Dawn, we are going to miss you so much.
Thank you.
Really, really.
But I'm still going to be here. Remember that. I'm going to be in the community. So, you know. But yeah, it's so lovely to hear that you have that love for yourself, and happy birthday again. You're incredible.
What a birthday. I've got goosies and you've made me cry already, Sara. Please open that.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this. So since it's your birthday and since this is a big moment for us all, we're having a wee bottle of champagne. So drink responsibly, folks.
Yeah.
But yeah. I've had this in the fridge for a while, and I thought tonight is the night that it should get opened.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
And bear with me a
Pop
second.
that cork. Not in my face.
Yeah, watch your eyeballs. I need to do it beside the microphone to see if we can get the noise.
Ricochets off the wall, smashes the screen.
In the most ADHD.
What could possibly go wrong? Fuck you.
That could possibly go wrong.
I knew it. you okay?
I'm a little bit damp, but I'm just going to sit here with it. It's fine.
Are you sure?
I've been in much more uncomfortable situations in my
changed
life.
if you want to.
I'm just going to use this to wipe my hands. And
All right. Well,
no one can see.
full of-
No
there
one
you go.
can see when I've spilt it, so it's fine.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, everybody. So, Louise, what would you like to say?
I'm Louise. I'm up in Inverness in the Highlands. All I was going to say was, in regards to having ADHD, I mean, it's been a complete and utter roller coaster since I found out. And although I've had some massive highs and some massive lows, I actually now have come to the stage where I wouldn't change it. I like having ADHD. It makes me who I am. And I think it's silly little things that I've noticed, even just over the last week or two, just in my personal relationships and with my work. It's made me a more understanding person, I think. I'm definitely more creative than I think I would be without it. And yeah, although it can be really, really, really tough. And I have been the absolute depths of things. And when we were talking about the whole 1 in 4 statistic, I was one of those 1 in 4.
Yeah.
But nowadays, I'm happy with who I am. And I think now that I've had that realization, it's meant the absolute world to me to have that. So it might seem scary at first, but I think once you come to terms with it, there's nothing stopping you from doing everything you want to.
Aww.
ADHD can be a gift.
That's absolutely wonderful to hear. And how long do you think you've been feeling this way, or how far down the safari was it before you started to realise, oh, actually, this isn't quite so bad?
Quite recently. Probably took me a good 9 months of getting my head around it, and now it's starting to get to that stage. I might change my mind in a few weeks, but
we all have good days and bad days.
Exactly.
That's wonderful to hear. It really is.
It is, and it's just a reminder to everyone that the diagnosis is just, it is just the beginning, but things will get better, and that understanding can go so far. It can give you so much. So just stick with it.
Absolutely. And thank you, because Louise very kindly took all the anonymous information from the ADHD Make It Count campaign. So thank you so much for your work on that, Louise. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
not a problem at all.
Yay.
I enjoyed it.
Now, Rachel, did you want to
She
speak?
doesn't want to speak. She's got a cold.
You've got a cold.
Yeah?
No
Okay.
worries, my lovely.
Well, I'd like to say it again for the record now we're recording that the legendary Rachel Slattery was the person who coined the safari phrase. So we are forever indebted in gratitude to her and her genius wordsmithery.
Yes.
Yes.
It's definitely a safari.
Yes.
Thank you, Rachel.
Right. So we move on to Sarah S.
So I'm Sarah. I'm 38. I was diagnosed in April this year. I'm going to get quite tearful. Off the back of my suspected ASD diagnosis, I was doing a Brené Brown course, and my tutor thought that I had ASD. So I went for that, and my doctor was like, blah, 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 you probably have ADHD as well. So 3 years later, I got my diagnosis, and it hit me like nothing I've ever felt in the entire world. All my not enoughness, the bullying at school, the rejection from people, kind of the abusive relationships, everything came down to ADHDness, and everything came down to kind of being in this world where nothing really made sense because I was always trying harder, never really meeting the mark, and just felt like a massive failure. And even though like I've always done loads of things in my life that have been amazing, like I think you'll know this, Laura, from like working at Secret Garden Party, I've like been part of the management team, like big projects, and just never ever felt like I reached that mark. So it's been a journey. Yeah, it's just been this huge thing of like this is the first time I've engaged with anyone publicly about it, I think, and actually. It's been massive. So yeah, it's just this huge thing, isn't it? And I feel like it's a huge disability for me. I don't feel like I'm getting through it some days. I don't feel like I'm making that progress. I know I am, maybe, but it's just trying to explain to people that it's this completely debilitating. I don't. How do you explain it to a person who doesn't experience it? I don't know how you do that. I don't think people look at us all and we're so accomplished and we're good at so many things, but when they look at us, they don't see that we physically can't do loads of stuff in our life, and it's literally like being tied down or like incapacitated. You can't do things, and it's really difficult to get that message across. It is a disability, and it's really hard.
Yeah, it truly is. That really resonates. Very, very hard. I'm sorry. I messaged you earlier. I'm so sorry that you experienced all of that, and I'm sorry that it took me ages to get back to you.
It's okay. It's only a day.
It felt like ages. But like really, really, really hear what you're saying, and I think the thing is, we understand.
Yeah.
And I think, we all experience it differently. I know you have your ASD diagnosis as well. All of us, even if we had exactly the same diagnoses, we would still be different because we've got our personality, our life experiences, our traumas, etc. But, please understand that maybe people won't ever understand outside of our community, outside of our bubble. But just leaning into that is such a game changer. And really, it is such early doors for you.
Yeah.
You won't feel like this forever. Like, it will change. Yes. You're still going to have good days and bad days. You'll have days where it's really debilitating. But this is still very early doors. And I've said a million times, sorry, I realise I'm ranting now, that I was really angry for the longest time, and I never thought that would pass. And I'm still angry about a lot of things, but I don't just breathe anger every day about it. So there are all these different periods that you'll move through. So,
and that's it. Getting your ADHD diagnosis is just the beginning of being able to understand yourself. So once you have that diagnosis, then the unpicking starts. And that's a long process to understand that you spent your whole life thinking you're a certain way and not knowing why, and berating yourself for the things that you can't do.
Well, I knew why. I thought I knew why, because I was a fucking idiot.
Exactly.
I was completely hopeless. Why?
You've berated yourself your whole entire life. So you can't just overnight tell yourself, oh, it's not your fault and everything's okay.
Yeah.
You have to understand why, and then you have to look at, what's the ADHD, what's the unhealthy coping mechanisms that I've put in place as a result of not being diagnosed.
Ways to change the narrative, the inner monologue.
It's a long process, and it is tough. Do not get me wrong, it is going to be tough, and you're going to have to go through it's a roller coaster. There's ups and downs, and there's going to be some difficult times, but keep going.
And just lean in, and you already are, which we're so
I definitely am. I've been doing the Brené Brown stuff for quite a few years, and I think, like you said, it's just this biggest thing. Someone mentioned their mum before, and I think my mum being at the time, she's like, oh, I knew there was something wrong, but the doctors, I've been diagnosed with general anxiety disorder and various other mental health issues that were actually ADHD in a different form, or ASD. So I've been labelled as having a mental health condition, but saying about my mum, her saying there was something wrong, there was something different, but we just kind of pushed it under the carpet. And it's but she didn't get any help with it. It wasn't her fault. She didn't know what to do with it. Yeah. And it's so typical, isn't it? So anyway, diagnosed at 38 this year. And then the biggest thing I want people to know is just, it is a slow process. And I think that there are positives. Every experience is different, and just if you feel like you need support with something, keep advocating. I'm currently going through trying to get my PIP assessment at the moment. I'm going to tribunal. I'm getting my access to work stuff. Keep going with it. You are entitled to the help. Your experience is valid, and don't let anyone else who isn't walking your shoes tell you any different.
Yeah,
that's wonderful advice. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you, Sarah. Okay, we have Donna. Would you like to share with us, Donna?
Hi guys. So I'm Donna. I live UK, Cambridge, and I got my diagnosis in March. It was a private diagnosis, and I can't afford the medication, even if it was there. So I'm trying to see how I can get through this unmedicated. But I just, I can't afford it at the moment. So I'm trying to put tools in place for my work, organisation, executive function, really. And I see some things, like you see on Facebook. It's like, oh, everyone seems to be jumping on the ADHD wagon now. Could you have ADHD? Do you want to try this and pay this? And I'm like, no, I don't. Do you know what I mean? I know what you're doing there. I'm not stupid. I might have ADHD, but I'm not stupid. I'm not paying for that. I think I just need to work out what I need to do to carry on unmedicated, really. As well as you would with medicated.
Yeah, and that's going to be different for each individual, isn't it? There's no sort of one size. And as we've said, our symptoms can change over our lifespan as well. So you just have to keep that self-inventory, reflection, and
stay curious. Listen to the audiobooks and read the self-help books and learn as much as you can about yourself, because knowledge is power. And the more you know about yourself, the more you'll be able to cope.
Exactly. And I think Sarah S. was just saying, I can really relate to that. But since a diagnosis, you go down that big hole of imposter syndrome. You're like, wow, what's that? but for the first time as well, just starting to like myself. Like, it's okay to be like this. The anxiety is not there as much.
That's so brilliant.
Also, because I'm not a winter bunny. I was diagnosed with severe seasonal affective disorder over 30 years ago. So I kind of like going down that little hole a bit where I'm like, I don't want to go out. I don't want to talk to anyone.
Yeah, I really
But I've been
relate.
like that every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's all cool, guys. I really appreciate what everyone's done and you two ladies, and I listened to the latest podcast yesterday. I was so happy to hear that you're still going to be about in a community, Dawn. I was like, I'm going to cry. And then she was like, I'm still going to be about. I was like, yay.
There's no way I'd have been able to walk away from this and just stop like
I
that.
appreciate you. Well, I would say, you're both amazing, just full stop. There's no doubt about it. But I think it's a brave thing to do what you've done, admit it. And Laura's obviously been really understanding as she is. And that's the really beauty of it all. It's like, I saw something quickly on Instagram earlier. I don't know, you just look really, really, really refreshed.
Thank you.
Like a new beginning. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's bittersweet because don't get me wrong, if I could do both, I'd be doing both.
I know you would.
But I realise I can't. And, I have to figure out my path and start going down that way. So
absolutely. But I think going from what you're doing is maybe us in the group need to think, what are we doing that we can reduce things that we're doing too much as well, that we probably let go. And you too, Laura, because you do a lot.
She does more than a lot.
I'll get there, right?
But yeah.
I mean,
I know she's not saying I look refreshed.
You've always been refreshed. I can't see you.
I'm the living dead at this point.
I actually can't see your faces on my phone. But I saw Dawn's earlier on Instagram, so I can only speak for Dawn.
Yeah, she looks hot.
Oh, thank you.
Did that get me out of that? I'm not right.
No, I'm joking. You were never put in it. I'm just so exhausted, so I'm just having a whinge.
I was saying to Ali on a call the other day, I said, oh my God, how did you both, you and Laura, go all the way from Scotland down to London, do all that, then come back for something? I was like, I don't know how you done it. I just don't know how you done it. I could not have done that. Oh my God, I'm getting a bit concerned about you ladies now. I am sort of thinking, do I need to come and make him a cup of tea or something?
Yes, please. That would be lovely. Thank you so much for sharing all of that, lovely.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Kerry.
Kerry's up. Hi, Kerry.
Hi. So I'm in Surrey, and my story is I'm actually 56, and last year my daughter started saying that she had ADHD, and I went, don't be so bloody ridiculous, you've got a first class honours degree, you haven't got ADHD, what planet are you on? And she got a little bit defensive and she sort of backed off. It was a family chat, it was all very friendly, but what's she on about? Anyway, I had a massive bust up with my bestie this January the 13th, Friday the 13th. And it was, how attached we get to people and so empathetic. And it was just a horrific experience. And I got literally down to the bottom of the doldrums. But it was coming out the other side that I started realising that actually all the things that I thought was different about me, like other people have said about being weirdos or whatever, it was ADHD. And once I realised that the RSD was a real thing, I was able to put that at arm's length, go, that's not actually me, that's a part of me. And I found it as quite a positive thing that even though at 56, I can actually, like a lot of people have touched on, got to know myself so much better. And I'm actually way, way happier, knowing who I am now. Sort of, and it just explains so many things. So that's sort of my story. And now I look at my daughter and go, you were so right. And she has got ADHD as well. So we support each other now. So that's sort of been our...
Yeah, that's really nice.
And I wanted to thank you guys because I was actually driving down the local A3 and I was just into podcasts. I'd never listened to them. And yours just appeared. I'd probably put ADHD or something at the top. But you must have been the first hit that came up. And you were interviewing the guy from ADHD UK. James.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, wow. Oh my God, an ADHD text. That was the first time I'd heard ADHD text. Oh, this is brilliant. And I was like, all those fines, all those forgotten bills. I was like, oh my, I'm not a klutz. I'm just got that. And I need to put an infrastructure in. So, yeah, no, it's been a massive year of learning. And I just wanted to say for my last thing, I am actually guilty of being that classroom teacher that thought ADHD was for lively little lads.
Yeah.
And, you know, what a learning curve that has been. And my little mission is to actually educate teachers, to get them to recognise in children that, you know, ADHD can present in so many different ways.
Yeah, amazing.
So,
amazing.
Let's see. But I don't know, I'm not sure I've got your passion and drive. It's like absolutely incredible. But anyway, you know, from here, deep down in the heart, thank you so much.
Oh,
thank you so much.
Thank you, Kerry.
And good luck on your mission.
Yeah.
Can I
well, we'll see. I might give it to you, Laura, because you seem to be quite
I'm a little bit busy, darling. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, you're a busy person that can always get more done.
She doesn't need any more work. I can tell you that now.
No, I'm joking.
No, I know. But in all seriousness, like, if you ever want to chat on the community, please do. You know, I'm there.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Lovely. I just want to say something because I keep forgetting it. And it's been about 3 people, and then I'm like, I must say this, and then when it comes around, I forget again.
Go.
Before I forget again. So obviously, quite a lot of you here have been speaking about diagnosis, and I just want to chip in. With the point that we always desperately want to make is that self-diagnosis is valid.
Yes.
You know, one of the horrifying statistics that we saw when we started out on this safari was that most ADHD women will not be diagnosed in their lifetime. So, you know, it's not the diagnosis club over here.
Every single ailment, every single condition is self-diagnosed. Like that's how it begins.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's completely valid.
Yeah. There's our Leanne.
Hey ladies. So I'm Leanne. I'm from just outside Newcastle. I joined the community, I think, pretty much the day it went live because I was like, no, this is the most relatable thing I have ever heard in my whole entire life. I remember finding the podcast and I think he'd had kind of like 10, 20 episodes or so. And I was driving back on a friend's one night. And you know when you have to try and stop yourself crying because something is the most relatable thing that you've ever heard in your whole entire life. And I'm like, right, I'm driving on the motorway and it's rainy. Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. And it was just one of those things where it was like, right, this just literally explains my entire life. And I was 38 years old when I kind of found you two. And basically still working through it, but it is one of those things where it's kind of like, right, the more I learn about it, the more I see that it was there my entire life, the more that you can kind of learn to be a little bit more accepting of yourself. And I'm not there. I'm a year into diagnosis and still nowhere near there, but it's one of those things where it's kind of like, right, I can kind of go easy on myself when I have those bad days now. I don't feel any, like, I've always been that kind of person where I was a proper workaholic, would, you know, work like 10-hour shifts at my proper job, then go do another job and then party 4 days a week. And it was like I had to be busy all the time, but then you'd crash and you wouldn't get off the sofa for a week. And then you get called lazy. Why are you so lazy? Why haven't you done anything? You haven't moved out the house. So yeah, at least now I know why. And I kind of have reduced the partying and the workaholicness to a point. But yeah, we're getting there. And I second pretty much what everybody said is I don't think I could have got through the first few months without the community and without your podcast and finding all of the other girls and stuff. So yeah, massive, huge thank you to what you started and obviously what you've kind of carried on going with.
Thank you. And do you have a message for anyone out there that might be going through ADHD diagnosis or?
Don't take your dog's incontinence medication.
So if anyone's not heard that story, Leanne won in Newcastle, because you were in Leeds as well. But in our live show in Newcastle, Leanne won most ADHD thing because she took her dog's incontinence tablet instead of her ADHD tablet. And there was some nurses laughing on the other side of the line when they realised, well, once they told her that there was
no immediate danger.
No danger. Just everyone was pissing themselves apart from Leanne.
Tip from the top, Leanne.
Love it.
It's our Gemma, the wonderful Gemma, came and took fantastic photos at Westminster on Monday.
I know you got to meet her in real life. I was trying to say that. IRL is it?
IRL.
Yeah, but I couldn't. So
IRL.
In real life. Yeah,
that's the yeah, it was really good. I was so nervous though, but it was really good. So I live sort of on the border of Surrey and London, so I'm sort of West London, Surrey. I started looking into ADHD beginning of this year for my son, who is now 8, because a friend of mine's son was diagnosed, and we were talking about how similar they are in so many ways, like a lot of their personality I say personality traits, but we now know is sort of traits of ADHD/autism. So I started looking into it, and I was like, I do that. Oh, that's me. Oh, okay. And I think I put in Spotify ADHD podcast, and yours was the first that came up. So I just obviously listened to everything, binge listened to everything. And then I started talking to my sister about it, and she was like, oh, me too. So now my sister's like, yeah, that's me. And one of us is awaiting assessment. My other brother is still like, self-diagnosed, are you? And I'm like, yeah.
Hello.
Okay.
Hi.
You're going to be on a podcast.
Whether you like it or not. So yeah, it's been mad. Like, I separated from their dad. It'd be 3 years ago this January coming. And I'm pretty sure, had I known I had ADHD, had he known that he potentially has it as well, we probably wouldn't be divorced, or we may not have even got together in the first place.
Well, there's that too, hey? I was just about to say, relate. And
been something to get my head around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been waiting. Yeah, since March, I've been put on the waiting list for assessment, and I'm still waiting. They said it would be about 24 months.
Right.
Yeah, we'll see. They just keep upping my fluoxetine in the meantime. When I go back to the doctor and I'm like, I'm not doing okay, he's like, oh, we'll just up it again. And I'm like 1 dose below the highest now, so they can't go much further with it. But bit of CBT in between, just trying to sort of cope on all the levels. But yeah, this community's been amazing. I'm still getting to grips with the apps and stuff, but I'm trying to manage.
Yeah,
but it's been so good, though, just to be able to relate to people that are going through the same thing or have already been through it, because obviously I don't have a diagnosis. I am still like, am I though, or am I just like overreacting?
Don't listen to that imposter syndrome. We all get it.
Yeah,
and sometimes we get it just as bad after the diagnosis anyway. So it's par for the course, unfortunately, but you're not alone in it.
Yeah, but you guys have been amazing, honestly. I don't know how I would have got through the last 9 months without you guys.
Likewise.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
so much. Right, Claire, are you in space in leopard print?
I love it.
You shouldn't have favourites, but I'm sorry. Have you seen Claire?
I keep seeing Claire's head. Like, sometimes it's upside down, sometimes it's the right way up. I don't think it can recognise you with that leopard print hood on.
This wonderful leopard outfit. How you doing?
I'm sorry, I don't know how to get rid of the background.
Don't be sorry, I'm living for it. I love it.
It's good.
Yeah, and I keep moving around because I can't sit still and all the rest. I'm sorry.
You never need to apologise for any of that here. You are amongst literally like-minded folk. We're all the same, so don't you worry.
Yeah.
Whereabout are you, Claire?
I'm in Liverpool. Yes, not space.
Not space.
So I got diagnosed with ADHD this year at age 46, after 3 years of trying to get diagnosed. Mm-hmm. And I started medication 3 days ago.
Oh, wow. How are you finding it?
I was really productive yesterday.
Yeah.
and then I had a big crash yesterday evening.
Mm-hmm.
And I was feeling good today until about an hour ago. I've got a really bad headache.
Yeah. Have you drunk enough water?
Yeah, get some water down you.
Probably not. Probably not.
I just have to keep necking it because I got really bad headaches in the beginning and the crashes. I was like ready for bed at about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and it did pass, but I still neck water all day, every day.
Yeah.
What are you on? That sounded dodgy. What are you on? Can I have some?
What are you on?
It's the one that would be called Ritalin if that was the brand name of it.
Methylphenidate.
Methylphenidate, that's it, yeah. And but that's not the brand name I'm on because of the shortage.
Yeah.
But because I got diagnosed through Right to Choose, through Psychiatry UK, it's been 7 months waiting for titration. And so my titration started this week, and they send it out via a private pharmacy.
Okay.
So for 12 weeks, I'll be getting the medication sent to me via a private pharmacy. And then hopefully by when that 12 weeks is up, the shortage with the NHS won't be.
Yeah, fingers crossed. That's good. That's fantastic. You've got that, lovely.
Yeah.
That's really
I know,
good.
but I feel a bit like it's rubbing other people's faces.
That's not your fault.
No.
That's not your fault.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm really happy for you. And you waited 3 years, you know, none of it's ideal, and none of us get to pick or choose which county we're in or how we're treated, you know. Like, it's really good that you know that you've started titration now.
Yeah.
Just drink more water, please.
Drink more water, look after yourself, and just go with it. It's early days, so just take your time.
And I want to say thank you to you both. And me and my Bezzy, who's also got ADHD, were listening to your latest episode together, and we were like, oh, Mum and Dad are splitting up.
We're not splitting up.
I know. And
I'm
by
the
the end
dad,
of the episode,
you're definitely not the dad. I'm the dad.
episodes, we realised that yous were both staying together as friends, which is the important part.
Exactly that.
But we did shed a tear.
Oh, bless.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Because we love you both.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
evening.
Miranda,
fancy
you're
a
up
chin wag?
next.
Hi.
I am in Salford, starting a new job soon.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Which I probably wouldn't have had kind of confidence to go for before diagnosis.
Lovely, that word keeps coming up, isn't it?
Confidence.
Yeah. It's the kind of thing that I've wanted to do for ages, but I've just kind of gone, oh no, that's not what I'm used to doing. So, I'm not even. I'm not
push
go for
yourself.
It,
I can't do that. I'm not good enough to do that.
Yeah. But no, very excited. It was actually my 1 year diagnosis anniversary yesterday.
Oh,
happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. I completely forgot until today, and I'm like, oh, I missed it. But,
and how do you feel a year on then? So obviously you're feeling more confident and you're doing what you want to do.
Yeah. So... in some ways, my life feels completely different. Like, I actually get up and do stuff every day, stuff that would have taken me like weeks or months before I could just do.
Yeah.
But in other ways, like, obviously there's a lot of stuff I still struggle with. The thing that I was thinking is, like, before I was diagnosed, it's always felt really lonely.
Yes.
And that's what, like, one of the things that's so good about the community is just, all these people who felt they're alone and like they're the only one, like, all coming together and sharing experiences. And like, there's so many of us, and it's just really, really lovely. And I do kind of struggle a little bit with Discord. So I tend to like disappear for ages and then just come back and be like, and then disappear again.
That's totally fine.
But that's the beauty of it. You can do that. There's no pressure to like stay in it constantly. It works.
Yeah.
It works however you want it to work.
Yeah. And it's nice to just kind of read other people's experiences as well 100%. And just to know that you're not alone.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. And you're definitely not alone.
Yeah, do you know what? It's really funny because you just had me thinking then, like, when we started and I was talking about, like, I don't really like washing very much and how fucking terrible I've been with money and things like that. and just, being unemployable, things like that. Like, if I cast my mind back to that time, like, I really, honestly, truly believed in my heart that I was the only person in the world. Like, I really believed that.
Oh, yeah.
And it's mad to think, isn't it? Like, I was so alone, so isolated. I
Full
felt
of
completely...
shame.
Yeah, but, like, completely, like an actual alien. Like, I really genuinely did. And that is the power of community. That is the power of sharing our experiences. So thank you for reminding me of that. Thank you, lovely.
Thank you.
Jaimie, go for it. Let's speak to
we'll
Jaimie.
speak to Jaimie.
I am Jaimie Kearns. I'm in the U.S., the state of Tennessee, about 2 hours east of Nashville, if you all kind of know that region. And I found you all early July, and I listened to every single episode you had in the first season in the 60 days, I think.
Oh, wow. Bloody hell.
So you might be ADHD if you do something like that. I feel kind of like a unicorn because I was diagnosed as a child. However, being brought up in an ultra-religious community, which is often portrayed in the South, it really is. You don't medicate. It was just acknowledged. You have it, no excuses, get on with it. My mom's an educator. I'm actually an educator as well. So I have the combined type. So I hear all these, and I guess for me, when I recognized after doing some therapy, I was like, I had a therapist ask, well, have you ever considered looking at what untreated ADHD, what that has done for you? I'm like, well, what do you mean? They're like, well, your impulsivity, because I got pregnant at 18. I didn't know I had an option. So I have a son. He's 27. And all these other things, you name it, I had the list. And I was like, oh, that's related to ADHD? What are you talking about? Oh, you mean when I'm depressed? Oh, like the hypermobile? Like all these things, they're like, yeah, these are some symptoms or comorbidities or side effects. I'm like, what? That's just because I'm lazy. I just don't feel like getting up. Or that's just because I say yes to everything. And I never realized that all the things that I was doing, talking over someone or starting new habits. I have a bazillion habits. Like I have a whole room of, things I'm interested in, and I just stopped. So listening to you all and having all your guests just kind of re-educated me. So in a lot of ways, I feel like my diagnosis was in July because I finally got help. And because of my help and an oversharer, I just realized there's no such thing as keeping secrets. Secrets will come out anyways. I started sharing with everybody and anybody. And starting in October with the ADHD awareness with my Instagram, I just started just sharing like ADHD awareness. And this is about sleeping, about, productive procrastination, just sharing things that I deal with. And I've had so many people, honestly, because of y'all's honesty, I've had so many people privately message me, other women in their 40s.
Oh no, you've just frozen.
No, come back. So annoying. I was enthralled. I was hanging off her every word.
I know.
That's really annoying. I wanted to ask her what her Instagram was as well. It wouldn't be Zoom without a little technical hitch. Well,
exactly. It was never going to go without any hitches. So.
I just hope she realises and she's come up for air and she's not still mid-flow.
Oh, no, bless.
Okay.
So we'll go to Lizzee.
Yes, let's go to Lizzee.
Lizzee, we'll come to you. How are you, darling?
Hi. I haven't got my camera on because I've had an incredibly ADHD day where I saw something on the community about pink hair and I was like, oh, I haven't changed my hair in about 10 years. So I tried to do that. Oh my God, dreadful.
Why dreadful?
No, I look like a badger.
No.
Oh no, it's terrible.
Get it out.
I don't believe it.
Get it out.
It's awful.
I've
fixed it now, so I've put another load of another load on, but I've got to go and wash it off.
Oh.
So yeah, that's troubling. Let's hope it doesn't fall out. I'm going to like an awards ceremony on Friday, so I was like, oh Jesus.
Wear a wig.
I think I might have to adopt the wig as a lifestyle choice.
Yeah. For it. So, most ADHD thing of today aside, is there anything you would like to share on this episode?
Yeah, definitely. I think since I've followed the podcast, I think it's really given me a lot of value in accepting ADHD. I was quite skeptical even when it was suggested to me by a healthcare worker. it's been like layers have been sheared off me. Since I've kind of like started to accept it. I think on the roller coaster, I'm moving into the phase of accepting now, and just like not trying to fix things that I struggle with, but work with them and work around them. And also trying to find the positives in things. I think one thing that I really struggled with in work is just this sensitivity. I always felt like I was like the troublemaker and the person shaking the trees that didn't want to be shook, and that was really difficult. But I also couldn't help myself, because if I see something that isn't how it should be, I just can't I can't leave it alone. Like it's like skin picking. You just can't, you know. And it made my life really, really difficult, especially kind of feeling like I did it on my own. And I definitely think that's something that since I've been in the community and I've started feeling a lot more acceptance, that actually I'm using that more as my strength and my driving force. Which is really good.
That's wonderful. It's lovely to hear.
Well, it's nice actually. Like I've just kind of let it run riot, really, which is fun. And I've got very much an attitude now of, well, like if people aren't ready to see what the issues are and to accept that there might be a problem, then that's not on me anymore. If they want to kind of bring the shutters down, then that's their problem. And I'm just going to do what I do everywhere.
That's exactly
in a positive way, though.
Of course.
Yeah, that's it. Is put yourself first, look after yourself, make sure you're living in line with your values, don't be a dickhead, and just crack on, you know?
Yeah, did you just call Lizzee a dickhead?
No, I was just saying in general. You know what's funny? I got a parking ticket this morning.
Dickhead.
Like, yeah, you know. It's kind of in line with what you're saying. Like, you know, like in the past, I'd have looked around and blamed everything else around me for that situation. I decided to leave my house at the time I did. I decided to park where I did. I knew that there was a good chance that I was going to get a parking ticket because I parked illegally. And I did it because I was in a rush. And the reason I left late is because I was trying to people please. The reason I parked where I did is because I was trying to people please. If I'd just said, you know, I park a little bit further away, I'll be a couple of more minutes late, it wouldn't have made a difference. But anyway, I paid that fine, and I'm not angry about it. I'm just like, I accept responsibility for that ticket. It's my responsibility. I could have done things differently. And so it's like impulsively, I made those choices. And that's my ADHD, the impulsivity, but I still had a choice. And so it's just remembering that is you always have a choice.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I have to say, I really liked your skin picking analogy. I think that's a really good one, because I've really done myself some injuries today. My fingers haven't been this bad in a long time. And it's funny because I always think about, because I don't really pick, but I bite the skin on my fingers, and I look down at them. And my mum used to say to me, like, what is it that you see when you look at your fingers? Do you think you're like looking at a juicy steak or something? I'm like, no. It's like the opposite of that. I'm trying to make it better. Like something's coming 100%. Off and I'm trying to make it right. And so I think it's a really good analogy that you used about your justice sensitivity, because you're like, that isn't fucking right. Yeah. I'm going to make it better. And then...
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it does end up that way, but then again, sometimes it does. I mean, I kind of feel like indulging it a little bit has kind of like driven some positive change.
Mate, 100%. Because at the end, no, all I meant was in terms of like, because what was the word you used? I think you used trouble, or that's what came to my mind. I'm trouble. I've always been trouble, and I've tried not to get into trouble, and trouble has always found me. And I think it's like, in the same way as you, like I'm leaning into it. You know, there's all those brilliant phrases. I love that expression, like give them something to talk about. Like if I'm going to stick out like a sore thumb anyway, I might as well do it in leopard print. And if this thing's going to drive me fucking mad, I might as well shout about it. Like, you know, this is who we are. And if being who you are, there are these injustices that you can't live with, what, are you going to do somebody a favour by living with it? No, absolutely not. So I salute you.
Yeah.
I completely understand. I think you definitely hit the nail on the head. I think I was doing it in situations where I had no control. Luckily, I think I've crafted a situation where I do have control, and through leaning into that justice sensitivity and like accepting it as part of who I am and trying to use it a bit more as a driving force. And since I started listening to the podcast, I had the confidence to get my dream job working on business and the environment, and I work for the union as well, so there's lots of scope there for me to exercise my justice sensitivity for sure, and everybody's really supportive of that, so that's like my perfect environment.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think that you guys have achieved, and definitely the community continues to do so. I remember having a drink with some ladies that I worked with in the union. They all kind of like had this phrase that they used very regularly in like a jokey way, lift as you rise. And I think that's actually kind of, for me, I think that's kind of the spirit of your podcast, and definitely the spirit of the community, because everyone's kind of in this place where they're struggling, but they're kind of pulling everyone up around them.
Yeah. Love
so they
that
might not be in
phrase.
the best place, but they're still kind of chipping in and helping other people, and that to me is that's the salve to my justice sensitivity for sure.
Yeah, 100%. We rise by lifting others. Together we rise. Absolutely. I love that.
I love that
Wonderful.
too. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lizzee. Please show us your hair when it's done.
Yeah, please. We want to see it. We want to see it.
Who knows what colour it will be? Who knows?
Right. So next up, we've got Tracy.
Yeah, Tracy.
Hi, I'm Tracy from Watford. I was diagnosed last July. Came off the back of my 19-year-old son after 13 years of going backwards and forwards, trying to get diagnosis for him. We ended up with ADHD and ASD. And then I've been diagnosed with ADHD last year and probably ASD as well. But just sort of saying the same as everyone else, that the community's just been a lifeline for me for the last however many months. I think I joined quite close to the beginning in January. Yeah, just everyone here being able to join the meets, travelling all around Scotland a lot of the time to come and see everybody. Yeah, and obviously my life's completely changed because of my ADHD diagnosis.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm hoping that things are just going to get better and better from here on in.
They will.
Absolutely.
And like, obviously, as our listeners, like we do get together, we do see each other, and Tracy is part of the furniture, and it is wonderful to have such a what's the word? Yeah, supportive community, and we are all here for each other, and yeah, it's wonderful to see. We really appreciate you.
You've made some amazing steps in your life, and very proud of you.
Huge ones.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. Okay, next up,
Kim.
We have Kim.
Hello, everybody. I'm Kim. Kim Pierpoint, Wiltshire, living in Wiltshire, but I'm a Reading girl at heart. Like a stick of rock, Reading runs through me. I am 52, diagnosed at 51. Went into perimenopause 2019, and during lockdown, somebody said, "Do you think you've got ADHD?" And do you know what? It was the best thing somebody said to me, because all my life I have owned these words from two of my very best friends, Weird Kim. And I've absolutely owned those words all my life because I liked being Weird Kim. But now I know why.
Yeah.
And so all the things that I do differently, all the things that I kick against, the reason I can get up at 5 o'clock every morning, most mornings, the reason I can go out drinking and clubbing all night and get up the next morning and go, let's climb Snowdon, because I've got combined ADHD and I'm a hyperactive one. And I've always been like that. And my parents don't, I'm a mature older woman. So don't let that be the reason. No. Yeah, let's drop that bit. I'm an older person. No,
Fabulous.
I'm a mid-class, marvellous in midlife.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my parents don't understand it, don't accept it. I now have diagnosed my dad with autism,
my mum with ADHD, one of my brothers with ADHD. I haven't told any of them. This is just my personal diagnosis.
Well, if they listen to the podcast, they might find out.
They're too inattentive to do that. I would say that my journey, Safari, has been the best thing that's happened to me. I have dropped my mask. I have found you guys and the community some of the best people that I've just been me. I have just been me.
And we
and
love
I've loved
you.
every minute being with all of you. And I don't know why I'm going to cry.
Oh, Kim, but we do. We love you. You're such an important part of this community.
You all mean so much to me every day. All of you prop me up in some way. And I just feel like me. And I love that. So keep going, everybody. We're going to do this. We're going to win the war. And I'm not going far, and I'm staying here, and I'm going to help you all move this community forward. That's me, over and out. Lots of love.
Oh, so much love to you, Kim. That's it. We do prop each other up. And whether you speak out loud on the videos or whether you just lurk behind the scenes, you still bring something to this community, and everyone is so important. We love you for who you are. Yeah, don't ever change. Be yourselves. Laura's off as well.
Yeah.
I know. Big love, Kim. Thank you. You all right? Laura's gone. You've got her, Kim. Ali, we're gonna move to you. How you doing?
Can't ask me to follow Kim. I'm just about holding it together here. So I'm Ali and I live in Stirling. I've been trying to make notes. And I've just discovered I'm literally 9 months self-diagnosed today and 7 months officially diagnosed tomorrow. Because it was the end of January, and I think I kind of rapidly went from complete denial to self-diagnosis to officially diagnosed. And I'm trying not to swear. I feel like I shouldn't swear.
No, you can absolutely swear.
You can absolutely. You can absolutely fucking swear on this podcast, mate.
It's been life-changing, and it's not been straightforward. I still have moments, and there's been moments where even like the good stuff feels like part of the thing as well. It's like the stuff I've done that I've thought I did okay, the activism and stuff, it's like it starts to feel like part of that, like injustice sensitivity, and I'm like, oh fuck, even the good stuff. ADHD even gets the credit for the good stuff that I thought I'd done, which even then people made me feel shit about.
No.
And it's that thing of like having spent like 40 years being told you were just that kind of fundamental like failing of a human being on so many levels. Yeah, even when you were trying to help and do the right thing, I was often seen as just like causing trouble by sticking my nose into other people's business. So I came in at episode 40. It's been a hell of a roller coaster. But it's a bit of a shit show out there just now. But I think regardless of what point you're at on this roller coaster madness bundle of spaghetti that we're all tied up in, it's like find a community, and it doesn't need to be this one.
There's loads.
Find a group of people that kind of get it, because that's been the biggest kind of game changer for me. Yeah, finding all of you guys. And I think, yeah, self-diagnosis is valid, but for me, official diagnosis and medication have been a huge part of it as well. So I'd say don't rule it out. There's so much bad press out there about us just being after weak speed. No, actually, like the medication can make a hell of a difference.
Thank you, Ali. Thank you so much for everything. So Ali came with me from...
I was going to say, you might recognise her from last week's episode.
Edinburgh down to London. As my justice sensitivity kicked in all peoply, Ali managed to pull it back to the facts and the point of while we were there, whilst I was just like ranting and whatever. So thank you, Ali, for being there. I couldn't have done that without you at all, and you literally kept it together.
No, thank you for having me along for the ride. It's been an absolute pleasure. Feels like the wrong word, but it's been good to have somewhere to channel it. Yeah, that's me.
Thank you, Ali.
Thank you, Ali.
Right, so next
We've done Sara, we've done Ali, so it's Nikkie now.
Nikkie next.
Yeah.
Nikkie, how are you doing?
Hi.
Hello, hi. I'm Nikkie. I'm in Plymouth. I've been kind of lurking around as a goal patron for a while, but I didn't actually join the community like to talk or anything till quite recently, because I'm like awkward when I talk to people. But actually, I've kind of found like pretty much straight away, I found like, although I still feel awkward, I'm being awkward, I don't mind, because I know that nobody else minds. And I think that's probably been like the nicest thing for me. I felt like, yeah, I guess unmasking is the right word. It's like I can just be awkward and a bit weird and talk too much.
I even stand awkwardly. You're in the awkward gang. It's absolutely fine.
Full disclosure, when I first found you guys, I had never listened to a podcast before, and I actually hated the idea of podcasts. Like I'm not normally someone who likes to watch videos. I don't like listening to people talking normally. But I was working like all through the night, every night, and I figured one day I should try and find something. So typed in ADHD, came up with you guys, and this was nothing to do with you guys personally, but I hated it. I hated it so much, so I turned you straight off.
I know you say nothing to do with this personally, but I'm still taking it personally.
I wouldn't listen to us.
It was nothing to do with you guys. I just was like, nope, there's people talking. And I absolutely hated it. And I turned it off, and I was like, nope, can't do podcasts. And then a couple of days later, I was up again, and I was like, oh, I should probably try it again. And I put it on, and my first gut reaction, and I think it's just my head just has decided something. And like, if I've decided I don't like something, I don't like it. So I was like, no, just sit and listen for a bit, Nick. It'll be all right. And you know, and that was it then. Like I kind of sat there and for the next few nights just binge listened to you until I caught up to basically like to where we were, and then got really annoyed because I don't like having to wait a week for an episode. Anyway,
we tried. We did some bonuses.
But so like for me, I think I was diagnosed 18 months ago, and being diagnosed for me has been probably the best thing that's ever happened to me, but it's happened at probably one of the worst times of my life. And so the juxtaposition of the two is really, really difficult, because I think sometimes I have to remind myself that the stuff that's happening for me at the moment would have happened anyway, and that actually having the diagnosis and having that better understanding of myself and compassion for myself has made this not nearly as bad as it could have been.
Yeah.
But I also think perhaps to people outside, that what they would have seen is I got my diagnosis, I was all yay, and then suddenly my life seems to have kind of gone downhill. And I think for some people it probably looks like there's a relation there, but the truth of it is, really, I think part of the reason why I came to my diagnosis is because my life was spiraling down, and this whole life I'd built up around myself on all these coping mechanisms that I'd had in place for all these years, I couldn't do it anymore. And so everything was crashing down, the symptoms became more obvious. Then I started looking into ADHD for my son, saw it in myself, got my diagnosis, got my medication, which temporarily helped, but the things that were happening in my life were still spiraling down, and so that's kept on sort of going downwards. And so I'm so thankful that I have the diagnosis, so that I can understand what's happening for me and be a lot more compassionate, because otherwise I would be in some massive guilt and shame spiral on top of everything else, which I'm not. But it's also like it is weird, because I feel like I can't really like celebrate it as much as I want to, because things are just pretty crappy at the moment. And
I'm so sorry to hear.
But having you guys help, I've only really joined like the Discord community properly over the last sort of 3 weeks or 4 weeks or so, and I've been like sporadic on it. But I've been very, very lonely for a very long time, even though I'm a mum, I'm married, I've got like kids, I play basketball, I have a team, but that's all kind of just been like I've been in a bubble, and everything else is like outside of that. And
I relate to that.
Yeah, and I think especially since the medication shortage, like I've not had my medicine now for nearly a month, and that's been a big deal. And I didn't know quite how much of a big deal it was for me. I knew it helped with my emotional regulation. I thought it helped with my procrastination, but didn't really know like what else. But not having it I'm finding it really hard. I'm struggling a lot now. And the emotional dysregulation thing, I didn't realize how much that impacts so much of my life.
Yeah,
and
of course.
I've always been highly emotional, and I've always kind of been seen to be irrational, I think, or take things too far or too personally. And I've also been a big people pleaser and always kind of put myself last. And since I've been medicated, I've started setting boundaries for myself and standing up for myself. And that's probably made me seem to some people like, oh God, like she's changed. And yeah, I have, but these are,
but for the better.
And yeah, and I'm proud of that. And I wouldn't change that. But not having my meds now, I'm seeing it all I can feel it all kind of, everything kind of crushing me down again. And that's odd, because it's been 18 months more or less that I've had control over all of that. So to not have that control now is difficult. So I think sometimes I think people just think that, like, I don't know whether people on the outside think that meds sort of do anything or what they do for people, but I wish people understood just how many ways medication can help people if you get onto the right medication, and how not having it can have such a huge impact on your life in so many different ways. Like, I'm just like not getting much done at all. And the worst part of it is most of the time I don't feel like I care. And I think that's it. I think it's the apathy that I struggle with the most. And I haven't had that since, well, for quite a while now. So I'm not trying to be a middle-class, because the diagnosis is a great thing, but it's just happened at a bad time.
What did you say? I'm not trying to be
negative and like.
No, I don't think you're being negative at all. The thing is, right, it's like I said, what was the expression that I found? May the cat eat you and may the devil eat the cat. Like, how many times are we going to be failed here, for fuck's sake? Like, you know, you finally get to this place, fought tooth and nail off a lifetime of suffering, and it's like, here you go. No, sorry. No, you can't have that. It's appalling. So it's totally understandable that you would be struggling right now. But I really loved what you said about, you know, although life has felt a bit like it's been on a downward trajectory just now, all of the information that you have is like this armor, actually. Like, you're coping with it so much better than you would have done without that knowledge, despite the fact that the medication is in a fucking shortage.
And I think as well, like, for ADHD Awareness Month, like, it's an important thing for people that maybe don't know a lot about ADHD and don't understand it. Like, there's definitely been people that have come to me and it's like, well, you've got your diagnosis, you've got medication, like, what's wrong with you? Why can't you just crack on and, you know, you're fixed now? And it's like, no, that's just the beginning. Like, there's still so much work to do.
And there's nowhere that you're going to get to. There's never going to be a point in your life till the day you die that you don't have ADHD.
There's always going to be there's always going to be daily work, but that goes across the board. Whether you have ADHD or not, you need to continue to work on yourself daily so that you can function in society, in the world,
in
so
your
you can
relationships.
function anywhere. There's always continual work. So ADHD diagnosis, whether you have it or whether you're self-diagnosed, like, it is just the beginning. It's that realization so that you can have the understanding, so that you can unpick, learn about yourself, discover who you are, and discover how you need to change so that you can start living for yourself and be a better person to yourself and everyone around you.
Yeah, and do you know what? I really loved what Lizzee said. It's like, you know, we always say, like, lean into the community, but it's also like lean into who you actually are, because that's not going to change. Like, fundamentally, it's like, if you know that you are justice sensitive, if you know that you're emotional, passionate, whatever you are, like, just don't fight against it. And so the acceptance of the condition, but also an acceptance of you, and like the flawed person that you are, but seeing the beauty in that and the strength in that.
And there's something really magical about figuring out who you are. A lot of the time when we're trying to people please, whether it's keeping the peace or championing another person, whatever it is, however we people please, you get to a point in your life when you realize that actually once you start putting yourself first, you become kinder and more compassionate towards others. So it kind of just all starts to fall into place. So just keep working on yourself, keep chipping away, and eventually everything will start falling into place.
Yeah. Can I just ask, like, you know, you said to others it might seem that the two are related. Has anybody actually said that to you?
Yeah.
They have.
Yeah, I have been told that that they, by someone, I'm not going to say who, but that they think that my diagnosis has made me worse, not better. And it's really difficult because to a point, I can understand why they might think that, but at the same time, from what I'm explaining, they should know that that's not the case, because how I'm feeling about myself and in myself has is so much better.
Yeah.
I've always been somebody who's been manic and on the go, constant, never any time for myself. And I'm always felt like great shame and guilt over God knows what, about anything. I'd feel guilt and shame over everything. And I've been able to take that away from myself and stand up for myself and say, no, actually, this isn't okay. And this is how things should be or how they shouldn't be. But that's being seen, I think, as a negative.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's a bit like what Sara said as well, wasn't it? It's like, you know, like you're changing as a person. And like we've said before in the past, there are people who benefit from us being people pleasers, or that benefit from us not having boundaries, etc. It suited them fine. So to them, it might look really, really uncomfortable that you're changing or evolving, because it was easier and they did better when you weren't.
Or like, I have a friend who is self-sabotage mode as well. And it was okay when we were friends and we were both in self-sabotage mode, because we'd both go out and be riots together, you know, messing our lives up, and we could laugh at each other for our misfortunes and the things that we were fucking up. But as soon as I started to make myself better and work on myself, she couldn't handle that. So it became like that relationship broke down because... It
wasn't me, by the way.
No, it wasn't. But that relationship broke down because I was working on myself and she was stuck there. And so as you change, as you develop, as you work on yourself, someone told me, you will outgrow people.
Yeah.
You will move on and you will outgrow people. You know, that doesn't mean to say in the future you might not be able to reconcile or whatever, but there are some people that as you're growing, you will leave behind, and it can be difficult and it can be hard, but you have to still keep chipping away and working on yourself, because if you stay the same, then they're going to enable that behavior and allow you to, you know, make those same mistakes, and you'll never get out of the unhealthy patterns that you've been stuck in.
Which you're already doing, obviously, by the sounds of it. So good on you. But sorry, times are tough, lovely, and I really hope that this medication bollocks sorts itself out.
Yeah. Lizzee, did you have a quick question that was involved in this discussion?
Sorry, I didn't want to interject. It was really funny. I had a conversation with my colleague earlier about exactly what we were just talking about. And when I started my new job, I'd said, oh, I'm a highly organised, highly efficient person. And they hired me. And then about 2-3 months later, I had a performance review with my boss, who was incredible. And I just sort of held my hands up and I said, look, I've just had this diagnosis. And it's almost like part of me learning to accept that this is who I am means that all of those strategies, like being highly organised and stuff like that, they've actually just unravelled completely. And at the time, it was so stressful trying to like navigate a new job and unravelling, but it actually allowed me to kind of unpick all those unhealthy habits. So like they all just fell away. Everything fell away at the same point. But it meant that I could then kind of rebuild in a slightly better way. I think actually it's probably a healthy and natural part of the process, just because I know they said that her diagnosis had made her worse. It definitely made me worse, but it made me worse to make me better.
Yeah,
Exactly that.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah. Thank you, Lizzee.
We'll move on. So we've got Mary.
Hello, my name's Mary. I live in Lytham St Anne's near Blackpool. I've never spoken on Zoom before, and this is my first time ever, so thank you.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing your voice.
Well, since it's such a special occasion, I wanted to take part, and with it being your last podcast, Dawn, because you've been such a wonderful part of the podcast, and very excited to go forward with Laura and the rest of the community.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I'm going to be 50 years old next month.
Oh, wow.
And I discovered a year ago from a Google search that I've got ADHD. And I was Googling, why am I behaving so crazy? Am I losing my mind? All kinds of things like this. And it's all my anxiety and depression symptoms that I've been treated for years. And that clearly isn't really what's up with me at all. It's clearly ADHD.
Yeah.
And I thank you for really helping me to understand that. You two are a breath of fresh air, and I really admire how honest you both are, because I couldn't even imagine doing what you're doing, and you're just amazing. I am coming to see you in December, Laura, at Manchester. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Looking forward to seeing you.
And yes, good luck, Dawn. I hope it all goes really well.
Thank
and I'm
you
with
so
you all the
much.
way, Laura. I really hope it goes well. And I have an awesome husband, just like Big. And I've got my wonderful boy, and he's fantastic. So we're very lucky. And the other thing I wanted to say is it's such a relief to know what the matter is with me, because for 50 years I thought I was just weird, and I'm not coping at the moment. I'm desperate to be diagnosed. I'm in a waiting list, so it's probably another year or something, I don't know. And I'm desperate for medication. And I think you're fantastic, because you can actually talk and string a sentence together. I can't talk without having something.
Yeah, I was going to say, if I'm not tripping over my words, you know. But...
You're absolutely brilliant. But that was all I wanted to say. And thank you very much for letting me be part of this.
Oh, thank you so much, Mary. Really appreciate that.
And sorry that sorry that you've been struggling. See, exactly, stringing sentences together. Sorry,
all the same.
Sorry that you've been struggling. I can't.
Sorry that you've been struggling, Mary.
Yes. That's what I was trying to say.
Oh, but it makes it feel better knowing we're all in this together.
Well, exactly.
Absolutely. We 100% are. And you will get there. Wonderful. I'm sorry. We're so sorry that times are so tough. This is, I don't think that things can get any worse.
Absolutely.
So we've got to be on the way up now, right?
Yeah.
I really hope so. But it's wonderful what you did going to London and Edinburgh. That was amazing. I was watching you on Instagram looking to see what was going on. And I never go on Instagram. It baffles me. And I don't know how to use it.
And I'm not being funny, but with this one leading the way, like,
yes,
moves are going to be made.
Oh, yeah.
I am telling you. I
don't feel at all powerful. Agree. I just feel like I've got nothing to lose and I've really fucking had enough. And it's like, right then, this is what I'm meant to be doing. Let's fucking go.
Like I said in the episode, when I announced my departure, I said that, that moment that I saw Nicole on stage, I bawled my eyes out because I was like, she was born to do this. And I look at Laura, identically. I look at her and I'm like, yes, this is what you're supposed to do.
And you've been with her all this time, getting her started, and now she's up in flight and off she goes. Yeah. And we're all with you, Laura.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I'm going to let you carry on. Lovely to talk to you, ladies.
So lovely to speak to you.
Look forward to seeing you in Manchester, Mary.
Yay!
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
If you're finding this podcast helpful and you're in a position to do so, please join our Patreon peer support community via the link in the blurb of this episode. For unheard bonus and full interview video content and behind-the-scenes exclusives, including a next guest spoiler and first dibs and discounts on our handmade and ethically created merchandise and apparel, and live events tickets. Also blogs, vlogs, live community Zoom blethers, monthly advice from an ADHD coach, body doubling, and access to our Discord, filled with literally like-minded legends from all around the globe, including ourselves, who totally get it, who you can lean on, learn from, and blether with any time. Because the only people who know what it's like aboard the late ADHD diagnosis roller coaster are the other passengers.
We've created this platform in order to support ourselves financially, to be able to continue creating ADHD AF and for our podcast to remain ad-free. If you don't have the funds, there are other peer support platforms available. Check out the resources page on ADHDasfemales.com. If you can support us, in turn, you will receive the support of our community, a full circle of support for the Leopard Print Army. We spent our entire lives feeling like aliens, only to discover there's a whole planet of us. So hop aboard the spaceship and join us at patreon.com/ADHDasfemales.
If you would like to support us without joining the community, you can make a donation via our Buy Me a Coffee page, buymeacoffee.com/ADHDasfemales.
Both of us and the entire ADHD AF community really, really appreciate your support.
We really do.
Right, who else have we got? We've got Indi.
Have you woken up, Indi?
It must be like blimmin' in the middle of the afternoon
by now.
by now.
Well, it's 8 a.m. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
So, Indi, where are you?
Oh, yeah. Just an hour east of Melbourne in Australia. So I got on at like 5:55. I had so many alarms.
Bless you.
Dedicated.
Bless you.
Dedicated
Thank
to
you,
the
Indi.
cause.
Because
love
I
that.
can't get up at this time forcefully unless I was already awake or my body did that. But like, unless it's a flight. So I'm like, this kind of comes under that. I was like, I'll get it. I can make myself get up a special occasion.
Thank you.
So yeah, I was diagnosed at 27 in May this year, privately. Yeah, but in case anyone is here or doesn't know, there's like, I guess you can go privately, but there's different gaps with our system of how much you pay out of pocket. So it varies from nothing, or like what I paid, like $40, which I know was ridiculous, to thousands on that scale of things. So it varies massively. So it's kind of just a luck of who's available and what you find and stuff. So I was, of course, furiously researching for months. But it was the last person that I found that ended up being a 6-week wait. But it does take really, really in-depth research, which not everyone is good at doing.
Yeah.
I think because I have had such a hard time and lived out of home since I was 17 by myself, I've had to get so good at finding things that are cheap or free, or like just being so resourceful and careful, and not just being able to spend the money on the first one that, not that I'm, obviously judging anyone for doing that. I know how hard it is.
Exactly. Not always easy to be resourceful when you've got ADHD.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it wasn't, even for me, who's really good at researching and being resourceful, and really determined, because I have to be, it was still really hard. But that's not what I wanted to share, I guess. I wanted to, share more about, I don't think people really get that it's not something to be fixed. And like we were sharing about medication and stuff, that doesn't fix it. And I just really wish people knew that, we're kind of those people that feel like we need to be fixed our whole lives. So a lot of us end up like being personal development junkies, or just, I think we just hate ourselves for a really long time.
Yeah.
And my even finding out that I was probably ADHD was a bit unusual than everyone else's. I wanted to also share that, because there might be other people out there, or women that have had a similar experience, but I haven't heard it said before, we were trying to have a baby last year, and I had very, very early losses that I felt very intensely because I think of my sensory processing issues. So I felt everything from from the time you have the embryo, or sounds really scary, crazy, but I just feel like blood flow so intensely, and obviously have sensitivities to smell and stuff anyway. So everything was just very intense from the beginning. And what that caused then was a massive drop off in my hormones, like when people have a baby, even though it was very early, wasn't continuing. So yeah, that just happened a few times, and it obviously really messed up my hormones to the point that things got so bad that I was like, there's something wrong with me.
Yeah.
And it's not just like being upset about this situation. I was like, I will just go find some strategies for concentration. And yeah, that's when I actually found out, like by searching, what the symptoms actually were, or what ADHD actually was, that I sort of came across my own resonance. So then, I started, down that track, and found your podcast, and just listening to everything you guys do day to day. I was like, this is crazy. I thought I was the only one. Especially, I remember Laura with like the getting dressed quickly when your husband's going to come home.
Quick, hose bath, birds bath.
Yeah.
I know, sometimes you'd be literally like coming down the driveway, and I was like, oh my gosh, shit, better get dressed.
Put your clothes on, put your hair up, let's go.
It's that thing of doing things, not being able to do things for yourself, and doing things for other people.
Exactly. And I think it's the shame in it as well. Like I didn't want to be seen as like that was then me struggling, or that I had such a bad day. I think trying to hide that and not make it seem like I was doing so bad, because then that would obviously, make him worried and stress about things.
Yeah.
So that was pretty crazy. And I wasn't actually going to get diagnosed formally, because I thought, what was the point? I would just self-help my way through it and take natural stuff, because I was very good at researching natural alternatives to help my neurotransmitters without meds that would, essentially meant to do the same thing. But that didn't go as well as planned.
But you're here now.
Yeah, exactly. Still struggling so severely, even despite all of those things. And just learning all the strategies, reading all the books, podcasts, supplements, and already being very healthy. So I just wanted to also dispel any misconceptions about it being because you have bad gut health, because you eat poorly, because you've been vaccinated or any of those things as a kid, because that's absolutely not true from my experience.
You're doing everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so then obviously self-diagnosis is obviously very valid. I think you can know, and the only reason I did get diagnosed was to actually get access to medication and try that, because I think you get to that low point where you will do absolutely anything. And obviously I had fears about medication, but it wasn't until I actually researched it that I could make a proper assessment that it wasn't as bad as, meth, like everyone kept saying, or speed. Because, like most of us who actually tried drugs. But I guess wanted to say that do get outside support, because, just knowing about what to do isn't the same as being able to do it.
Yeah.
And when you struggle so much and have tried to do things yourself for so long, I think you just get to a point where it's so exhausting and you just might need to ask for help. So for anyone, I guess, who doesn't understand it, it's more so that you will not actually be able to like go to the toilet or do the tasks you wanted to or feed yourself, because you will want to talk so much. And that can be extremely debilitating.
And that's why it's so important for everyone to share their stories, so that we can see just how big and wide the spectrum is, and how differently,
and see it from all angles.
See how differently it presents in different people, because it is so diverse.
Thank you so much for sharing all that, Indi, and for getting up at bloody 5 to 5 in the morning or whatever it was. 5 to 6.
Yeah, you're an absolute legend. And thank you for being part of this community. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Right, we've only got a couple of you left.
Oh, hang on, Siobhan.
Hello.
Yay!
I just wanted to share a couple of things. You know how your Make It Count campaign and thinking about numbers and all that sort of stuff? I didn't contribute to it because whenever I stumbled across ADHD and then sort of made the decision to book an assessment, I was lucky enough to be able to do that privately, so I didn't feel stalled in any way. But thinking back the whole 38 years prior, just all the things like the 17 house moves and the thousands of pounds a debt and the 4 children and ending up with all boys, but really persevering because I really wanted a girl, and a divorce time that I'm 30, and just all these numbers that are driven by poor decision making or impulsivity or just taking risks that are not calculated or thought through, like all that sort of thing. So I have loads of numbers floating about in my head, but I feel quite privileged to be able to have been able to put myself forward and go privately.
Absolutely. And it's great that you can recognise that privilege, but like you say, there's 38 years prior to that. That's definitely not a privilege, is it?
Yeah.
And if you want to share anything, if you have anything like that you would like to share or you'd like me to share, then do send it over, because I'd love to share it. That's really interesting.
And I suppose just as well to say, so I kind of came to the realisation in about October last year, and there was private assessments that I could have booked like the week following or the week after, but I booked one in January to give myself that a few months to kind of reflect back through childhood and have chats with my mum and stuff like that. And I ended up accumulating just lots and lots of notes that grew into a huge list of notes just in my iPhone. And I found quite a lot, like when I was driving in the car, it was a kind of peaceful time when I had dropped the kids off and things like that. And things would flash back to me and memories would pop up. And then whenever I stopped the car, I just added things that had come back to this list of notes, and it grew and grew and grew and grew. And then after diagnosis, that kept happening for maybe 6 months, 7 months, possibly 8 months. But it got to the stage that the memories were kind of a less so and kind of fading out. So I found that to be a really therapeutic process, because it was sort of working through lots of things from my past and jotting it down. So as I was getting it out of my head and onto a bit of paper, and I've ended up with this big list of stuff, which is basically the kind of, it's like my whole history of evidence of ADHD that doesn't need to fly around in my head anymore. And I can do something with that at some point. What I did do with it was copied and pasted it, and I stuck it into ChatGPT, and I said, make me a life story.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't that good, but it's like a starting point. It's
absolutely.
I think when you struggle your whole life to make sense of yourself and you don't know where to start or how to go about that. So I've found that to be really therapeutic and probably in line with some sort of counselling or therapy, but I've just sort of worked through it myself. And I think that's a good tip for when you're kind of building up to assessment or diagnosis or using that time following.
That's a great tip.
Yeah.
That's a really good tip.
Thank you so much.
I've had a really good year since starting treatment. I'm kind of happy and motivated, and I know that I can be productive with the ideas and things that I have that I wasn't really able to do in the past, and just kind of excited about the future. And I look forward to getting up in the morning, which I never did before.
That's so lovely to hear.
And when I found you guys' podcast, I was heading on a wee family trip to Dunoon, and I had my earpods in my ears the whole weekend and binged the whole thing, and have just followed you since. So
thank
you. Although the only thing going in my head just now is Dunoon, Dunoon, Dun, Dun, Dunoon, 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 Dun, Dunoon, Dun, Dunoon, Dunoon, Dun, Dun,
But that's all that I had noted down, and a lot of the things that I probably would say about finding yourself. A lot of the girls at the start has said that it's nice to relate to others and to know that other people are thinking the kind of same or similar thoughts that you've got. So thanks so much for everything that you've done, and see you in the community, Dawn.
Oh, yes, thank you.
And Laura, we've all got your back.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Right, so Carolina.
I'm here.
Which one is it? Is it Carolina?
It's actually Carolina, but
neither.
Anyway, I answer by anything, you know. I've been listening to everyone, and a few people commented on my comment, and it was really nice, because I was just saying how I feel like a bit of an imposter, because I'm only suspected ADHD for about 3 months, but a bit of a fuck up all my life, I guess. So I joined the club.
Well, like we say time and time again, self-diagnosis is valid. So you're not an imposter at all. We all feel like an imposter when we're first looking into it. I'm not sure I've met one person that's not questioned it. They've thought it, but they've still questioned it. Am I not? I mean, I've been around the houses with it. I've been at a point being like, you know, I'm not ADHD. I'm just a horrible person. I'm just this. I'm just that. So we get it. But yeah, tell us a little bit about your story.
And where are you?
So like many of you, I'm 39, so about to turn 40. Struggled with my mental health since I was a teenager, really. Always with the label anxiety, depression. And I tick nearly all the boxes of the combined. So just how was this missed? I know I don't want to go that rabbit hole of what life could have been, but I'm still coming to terms with, you know, with my past, I guess.
Yeah, it takes time.
It definitely
it's
does.
a lot. And like we've said so many times, it's like when you suddenly see, like you said, the tick boxes, and you tick so many of them, it's like it's a wind up. It's like, why is this website just written down my personality and my life experience? Is this a joke? Like, it's a lot.
Yeah. And looking some of the most ADHD stuff I've done, it's just like, yeah, it's such a red flag if I saw this in someone else's life. Like, I've moved to the UK 10 years ago.
Where did you move from?
Portugal. And I was really running away from my life, from my, you know, from stuff that hadn't gone well, like relationships, university, all that. And I bought a one-way ticket to Manchester.
As you do.
I had a friend there, and I'd never set foot in Manchester before. So that's such an ADHD thing to do.
Yeah. I'd never set foot in Aberdeen until the day we drove here. Yeah.
But, now I'm married to an Englishman, and I've got ADHD toddler. And, I wouldn't have that if I didn't buy that one-way ticket. But, yeah. And this community has been amazing. I've been a member maybe about a month, so still fairly new. Binge listening to the podcast for about a month and a half. And I'm here to stay.
Thank you for joining us, lovely. Go easy on yourself, hey? Like, it's early doors, and please know that we all really do get it.
Yeah.
We're here.
Yeah? And you're not an imposter. Self-diagnosis is valid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Take care. Okay, and then we also have
Jill.
We'll come to you, Jill.
Hi,
Jill.
Hi.
Jill's in a leopard print.
Where are you, Jill, first of all?
I'm in Glasgow. Well, just outside Glasgow.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't actually realise that you wanted us to, give a kind of a little story.
You don't have to. It was just for easiness because I was so worried about time.
Yeah.
But obviously we've gone way over time anyway. Say whatever you like, lovely.
Yeah.
We're here all night.
I mean, it's like we have ADHD.
What's that?
There's that thing.
I just wanted to say, I don't know if it's really important, but
of course it is.
Of course, everything's important. If you want to say it, then it's important.
Okay, thank you. So I was actually diagnosed on the 22nd of October last year, so that was just over a year ago now.
Yeah, just past 1 year. Congratulations.
Thank you. I mean, I knew that I had it before it. I just needed the diagnosis so that I could get things put in place in uni and get the meds if I wanted.
Yeah, get the support that you need.
Yeah. And now I'm on the maximum dose of L-Vans. So yeah, I had depression for a long, long time. Depression and anxiety, and it was mostly social anxiety and other types of anxiety too. And I've had that more on and off since I was about 13, and I'm 34 now. So I was diagnosed just before my 34th birthday. Well, nobody realised until last year that ADHD was at the root of it. I think I just want people to realise that, if there's anybody listening to this who doesn't have ADHD, I just want them to realise that it can be really, really serious. It's not just, somebody just, can't pay attention to something for more than 10 seconds or whatever. It has really big knock-on effects, for want of a better phrase. My self-esteem has really, really suffered. I could have done a lot better in school. I could have done a lot better in life in general. Yeah, and I've been looking around at people, people that are the same age as me, and they can seemingly do everything so easily. They've all got good degrees and they've all got good jobs and their own houses and stuff. And I'm thinking, right, okay, why can't I do that? I've had God knows how many suicidal thoughts. My past counsellor called them fleeting thoughts of suicide. Never tried it. They come and it can be a fright. I had so many thoughts of suicide in the past where, I was being bullied at school and I was being bullied at work and stuff, that I just kind of gotten into the habit of, if something goes wrong, then I would think of suicide.
Nicole Nadler speaks about that, yeah.
Yeah. So it just became kind of a knee-jerk reaction.
It's like its own coping strategy.
Yeah, it's comforting.
It's called passive suicidal ideation, and I want to thank you for talking about it because it's something that I've wanted to talk about for a really, really long time. Because Nicole. The phrase that she used was, it was like a spoonful of honey on a sore throat.
Yeah.
So any situation that you were in that felt unbearable, you could be like, well, you could just kill yourself. And the difference being is that the passive suicidal ideation is that it's like a way out that makes the unbearable situation more bearable, whereas an actual suicidal ideation, there's probably a better phrase for it than that, is an action.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to do X, Y, and Z, and this is what I'm going to do. But actually, passive is like it's an escapism in the mind, and I really relate. Like, it's not something I talk about. It's something I've wanted to talk about for a long time, but it's something that I very much relate to. It's not nice. It's no way to live, right?
Yeah.
No, it's horrible. And like the reason that she called them fleeting thoughts was because like they'd come, like if something went wrong, and that made me think that like it was just like that was just kind of a knee-jerk reaction to whatever had gone wrong.
Yeah.
And then these thoughts would kind of come out of the blue, and then like I'd almost get a fright and go, oh God, like kind of like literally shake myself.
Yeah.
And kind of, I don't know, force them out.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that was. Well, I was going to sort of jokingly say that was fun, but no, it wasn't fun. I don't want to joke about it.
Gallows humour. No, sometimes you've got to. We're both with you there.
Yeah,
We're both with you there. We know it's not a joke. We know you're not joking, but yeah, gallows humour can get us all through sometimes. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I hope those fleeting moments are less these days, and that you're coping a little bit better, and I hope that you're leaning into the community when you need it, and reaching out to people and getting the support that you need in place.
I think the thing is as well, you know, is talking about these things, like in so many of the conversations that we've had on the podcast, talking about these things, well, I was going to say it's powerful, but it also takes away the power that these things have over us and in our lives, right? Is because, you know, it's the shame or the secrecy or all these kind of things that can make things feel like an even bigger burden. And when you share something like that, you know, when so many other people can relate, you realise you're not alone in it. And that unfortunately, you know, as we've said, the 1 in 4, it is a common feeling amongst all of us that have struggled so much with undiagnosed ADHD. And just thank you for sharing that, because it is really fucking serious. So thank you.
It's really, really serious. Like that girl Jodie that you talked about the other day, like it's bad. I guess one saving grace has been that I've joined a few communities since realising that I have ADHD. Of course, this is one of them. And it's just so amazing when you have those moments. Like Dawn says at the start of each episode of the new series, something like we go through our lives thinking that we're aliens, and then we realise that there's a whole planet of us. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not the only one. I'm not. Other people do this too.
Those were Laura's words. I just read them out. But yeah, they were Laura's words.
You did the sea glass analogy. That's the best one. That's the mic drop analogy.
But it's hard to exist in a society that you don't feel like you're part of, but you're definitely part of this community.
You are not an alien. Well, you are, but so are we.
Yeah.
It's all right. I can celebrate being an alien now.
Party. We're having a fucking great time, guys.
People with ADHD have the best senses of humour ever.
You gotta laugh, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Listen,
well, thank you so much
Jill.
for sharing, Jill.
Better move on, but really appreciate that.
That's super important stuff that you're talking about, and appreciate you sharing and being so open about that. So thank you. Indi, did you have something you wanted to add?
I just wanted to add on to that, because that was something that I was going to share about with school. Like, I just wanted to be able to try and do something for, you know, girls that are still going through that now, being missed and stuff with school, or at least make other people aware of it. Like, it doesn't matter if, you know, even on the outside you look like you fit in, like people, or especially girls, still know that you're different. And like, people I thought was friends with would, destroy my property I left behind, or my drawings, or trip me over and stuff. And this was just all through school, even though seemingly I fit into like the popular pretty girls. And then even at home, you're getting excluded or scapegoated. It's just not normal or okay for young girls to be feeling like they don't want to exist, or, their family hates them, or, everyone at school is two-faced. And, you have no real people you can trust. So, I just really wanted to say, or, be able to do something for those girls who are going through it now.
Yeah, we're all fighting each other's corners. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the quote that I put on the website. I found it. Of course, I can't remember who said it. But action is the antidote to despair. Yeah. And I sat with that for a really long time, because I was like, well, fucking hell, should I really be talking about action when so many of us are struggling, to do basic things? It's like I'm saying, take action, but it does fit, doesn't it? It's like, how do we deal with this situation? And that, if we're even fortunate enough to have clawed our way out of, to look around us and see all of those that are still suffering. Yeah. And I just think that really hits the nail on the head. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Indi.
Good on you guys.
Thank you. Kirsty and Claire. We have two lovely ladies together. Hello, how are you both?
Good. Yeah. This is really weird having two of us at the same time. Yeah.
So do you want to tell us your names, where you are, and then whatever else you'd like to share?
Yeah.
I'm Claire. I'm in Oxfordshire. I've come over to Kirsty's house to play this afternoon.
Lovely.
I've been diagnosed for about 18 months, and it wasn't a surprise diagnosis. I'd spent 2 years, like we all do, going, pretty sure it's ADHD, pretty sure I've got ADHD. And then you get the diagnosis and you go, oh my God, can't be ADHD. I think I'm just a shit person.
Oh, that one.
Yeah. What does that psychiatrist know? So it's been a weirder safari after diagnosis. It wasn't a difficult safari to get the diagnosis for me, but afterwards has been a lot weirder.
Yeah.
Going, oh my God, that explains this. Yeah. And my mum totally not recognising any of it in me, because she's totally ADHD.
Yeah.
And we'll say that now. She'll be like, oh yeah, me too. And I've never seen it as a disability either. It just validated me. Like, oh yeah, that's why I am the way I am, because this is who I am, and it's fine. And I've said so many times this week, it's an explanation, not an excuse. Mm-hmm. And that's been my motto, especially at work.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't go down very well at work. But when it has felt like a disability, and I had a terrible week, and I shared it with everybody on the Discord community, and I don't know what I would do if I didn't have that. If I didn't have all of you amazing women, I would be lost in this sea of like absolute, oh my God, what do I do? Because I don't know anywhere else that I would go to be like, anyone else do this? Or, oh my God, you won't believe what I did.
Yeah.
Took my ADHD meds at 4:30 in the afternoon and was then awake till 2:30 in the morning. Those sorts of things I can share and not feel like an idiot and not feel like any of it's wrong, and that we're all still learning and we can all share all of that stuff. So thank you so much for setting up the community. Wouldn't have this friend either.
Oh, love that. Love that. And you're both in the same room. It's so lovely. It just shows the importance of peer-to-peer support, though, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's massive, and it should never be underestimated and never be kind of like, oh well, it's just an online community. It's just like it. That has been absolutely life-changing. Yeah.
Oh, that's so wonderful to hear. Thank you so much for sharing that. Kirsty?
Hi, I'm Kirsty.
Hello, Kirsty.
I am also clearly in Oxfordshire, and I was diagnosed on the 13th of January this year, a couple of weeks before my 42nd birthday. I knew there was something for a long time and was told it was various different things, and none of them ever quite made sense to me. I was researching it for my ex-boyfriend, and he was sending me videos, and I thought he was having a go at me, sending me these videos. And I was like, why did you send me that? What are you trying to say? Like, and I felt like, I thought he was like, making fun of me. Like, not making fun of me, but you know what I mean? He was like, no, I'm sending you things to try and explain to you what it's like for me. And I was like, oh, okay. So I started listening to podcasts and looking online, because apparently sometimes we do that. And I found this podcast that these women had started making. They weren't in their 40s yet, but they were close to it. And they were kind of in the same place as me, and going on that journey at the same time. It made the hugest difference to me. And that was you guys. And I was such a chicken about joining the community for such a long time. And when I finally did it, it was terrifying, but it was so validating. I can't begin to explain to you, and I don't think I need to, because I think you all know. Having this community, it's made me understand what I'm talking about and what I'm dealing with. It has really helped me. So like I say, that diagnosis that I got, that wasn't the thing for me. The community was. It took me a really long time to post anything on social media about my ADHD, and I'd forward stuff, I'd repost stories, all of that, but I hadn't ever posted actually anything really talking about it, because I was so fucking nervous to, because I didn't really know how it was going to be received. And it took me a really long time to feel confident enough to do that. And on Monday, when I posted, because I don't know what day it is ever, I posted when I made that post, I was shitting myself, really, really scared about doing it. And I procrastinated until I was on the coach, and I knew I had a certain time to do it. And I literally posted it like as I was about to get off the coach. And it was so easy to write. It was so easy to write. It literally just came out of me. Yeah. And the response that I got from people, I had like 5 or 6 people message me, and people I know, like friends, and this isn't people I've met once or twice, people telling me that they've been diagnosed with ADHD. Yeah. And I had no idea, because they hadn't talked about it, we hadn't discussed it, they hadn't mentioned it, because it's hard to do that because of climate at the moment, with the media, with politics, with everything that's going on. It's such a complete mess. And it made me realise every single one of those people, I want to go back and properly talk to them about it, because I don't want anyone to feel the way that I felt before I had this community. I had my diagnosis, but I did not know what the fuck I was doing. I don't want anyone else to go through it alone, or feel like they're going through it alone. It's made me want to fight for all the other people who are struggling as well, even while I'm still struggling, like a lot of the time, let's face it. It's made me want to do that, and I wouldn't have got to this point without you guys. So thank you so much. And Dawn, you are going to fucking smash uni. I am
thank you.
So proud and excited to see what you do next.
Thank you. And it genuinely goes both ways, though. I wouldn't be where I am. I wouldn't be at this point in my life if it wasn't for the community, if it wasn't for Laura. This wouldn't have happened. I needed this in my life to be able to get to where I am now. And so I might look happy, and people have said, oh, you're glowing. And it's not because...
You said you were glowing in your last post. But which might I add, sounded like I was holding a fucking hostage.
I've glowed.
I'm free, Laura. Look how good I look.
But what I want to reiterate is that I'm glowing not because I'm leaving. That's not why I'm glowing. I'm glowing because I'm finally doing things for myself. I'm finally able to actually, live within my boundaries and live in line to my values. I am glowing because I'm doing that. And any pressure that's ever been on me this entire time has been pressure I've put on myself. Through,
and sometimes that's the worst pressure to kind of move away from, isn't it? Because you've got your brain to battle with.
Through perception, what I think I should be, what society expects me to be, what I think my friends, my family, whatever anyone expects me to be, because I've always been living to them, to their expectations instead of my own. And now that I'm finally living to my own, that's why I'm glowing. And it's not because I'm leaving. I'm gutted. I'm absolutely gutted I'm leaving. I wish I could stay. But staying's not the right thing for me, not right now. And I'd be letting the whole community down if I did, because that's not me living to my values. And, that's what we shout about. Look after yourself. And so that's why I'm having to go.
I'm so proud of you for making that call, because it is such a hard thing to say, this isn't working.
Yeah.
And I know it's not working and it's not good for me, because I think a lot of us will say that we're all people pleasers to some extent in different ways. And to be able to say that and go, no, I need to do this for me because it's going to make me a better person, a better friend, a better parent, a better whatever.
And not only that, me staying, it's not just affecting me. It's affecting her. And that means she can't do the things that she needs to do and that she's capable of and live to her potential, because I'm holding her back in some way as well. So this isn't just about releasing me from things, it's releasing Laura as well. And that's like, I am like her biggest cheerleader. Like, I want to see you succeed. If Laura goes on to make millions from ADHD AF, like someone said to me, what if that happens? And I'm like, then I'll be fucking cheating her on the whole way. Like, I will.
I'll never make millions, let's be honest, but thank you very much.
No, well, you fucking might. You never know. You never know. Like, you could go on to do some incredible things, and I expect you to go on and do some incredible things. So if you don't...
Oh, I'm going to raise hell.
So if you don't...
There's an army behind you.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'll make any money, but I'll definitely raise hell.
Yeah. And that's it. So, like, yeah, I might be glowing, but it's not because I'm excited to get away from her, because...
I'm a frightful bore, I tell
she's
you.
not getting she's not getting to escape me even if she wants to. Like, I'm not going anywhere. But yeah, I am delighted to be able to let her fly, like, you know, release those wings and go and soar high, because that's what she's capable of doing, and I'm so proud of her and everything that she's done and everything that she's going to continue to do.
Yeah, I need some help though. I need some help, so I need to figure that out. Yeah, because I'm pretty tired. And I just got a left twitchy eye and a really hurty left hand, and I just can't stop. So I need some help. Ali had a hand up. Did you have anything else to say, Ali? Or are you done? Did we cover it?
It was to do with Kirsty and sharing that. Yeah, I mean, I did the same thing. I agreed to do this ridiculous thing with Laura, and then was like, I've not actually told anybody about this shit. So Monday morning I was like, right, I should really put something on Facebook then, I guess. So I just, fuck it, I'll do the thing, I'll put it on Facebook, I'll share the story. So yeah, Kirsty, I was there with you on Monday. I don't know, I have form for this. I was forced out the closet at 18 because I was interviewed on the TV talking about something that was going on at the time, and had to come out to my granny before she saw it on the 6 o'clock news. I've got form for it, like just waiting until the last possible minute to share the thing. And the main point of what I meant to say earlier, what I meant to finish it with, and I forgot, was that it gets better. And like, there is, like, it might be shit, but yeah, it does get better.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, that's the point that I keep making about the may the cat eat you and may the devil eat the cat, is that, you know, for so many of us, it got better and then this kind of, it got taken away again. But, you know, I hope that we can all just see this as like a hurdle that we are more than capable of getting over. We've been through worse, right? Now we're armoured up and we have each other, and things are going to get better again really soon.
Yeah.
And we're going to change the fucking system, so then it will be better for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? We will. We'll get there, bit by bit.
Yes.
Lizzie's got a hand up, and then we really better go, right?
I know.
I need a piece of toast. I'm hungry. I'm not going to lie. Lizzie, tell us.
I was literally just going to say, like, I think I've never actually had, post teenage years, a group of female friends I haven't felt very bullied by or judged by. So this is incredibly refreshing. I think it's always been something that I've not had growing up in my kind of later years. So I think the community has definitely filled that gap for sure.
I'm just laughing at Leanne saying, although everyone's trying to bully you about seeing your hair.
Okay, right.
Get your hair out. Get your hair out.
It's still
Peer
covered
pressure.
in dye. Right, okay, fine. Give the people what they want.
Lizzee.
The big reveal.
Get your badger out.
It's brilliant.
So we
What's
don't
wrong
even
with
know
it?
what's in here. There's bits of pink, there's bits of orange, there's a lot on my face.
You look like a tutti frutti.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, I think, well,
Tutti
I've got to go to
frutti.
fucking work tomorrow and speak to some important people, so God knows what they're going to think, but I don't think I give a shit, to be honest.
No, it'll be grand.
Who cares?
It looks lovely. I'm excited to see it when you've settled into it. Thank you, Lizzee.
Well, that's okay. I'll give you a hopefully non-sticky picture tomorrow. But yeah, I did meet someone. I met someone from the community yesterday in Birmingham, and they were so nice. And we literally, I met up with them at 6:30 yesterday, and I was like, "Oh, we'll just go for a drink." I got home at 11:30, and we just didn't come up for air the whole time. It was ridiculous. And I think that's kind of like the essence of what the community is, really. We'd barely spoken on the community either. So we were complete strangers. And she said that she'd messaged her friends and said, "Oh, I'm going to meet a complete stranger." And they were like, "Oh, okay. And yeah, it was like we'd known each other for years, which was amazing.
Literally like-minded.
Love
100%.
that. Thank you so much for sharing.
So Claire Robinson, do you want to take it home, love? Do you want to give us your parting thoughts?
Well, my name's Claire. I'm from London, but I've lived in Liverpool for the past 23 years. And I was diagnosed 3 days before my 41st birthday in June this year. And my diagnosis was just validation for me. I knew for a fair few months, I was absolutely sure that, once I had this light bulb moment, went down the rabbit hole, I was ADHD. And it's changed my life. I've started medication, and it was all brilliant at the beginning, but now I'm doing too much. I've gone from not being able to start, and now I can't stop, and now I can feel the burnout coming. But I'm sure you've all noticed I started off in leopard print, and now I'm in my ZZs ready for bed. I've slowly been getting ready for bed because it's way past my bedtime. I used to be up till 2:00 in the morning and then awake at 6, and now I sleep 8 hours a night.
Oh my God, what's that like?
Yeah,
Bloody hell,
exactly.
that's amazing.
Exactly. So
Good stuff.
my life has changed a lot, but I'm still working out a lot of stuff, especially with work. I am a workaholic. Completely. That's how all this come about. I had a total mental breakdown in work, justice sensitivity, just completely went in at one of the high bosses, trying to defend everybody. Luckily I didn't get myself into trouble. They got me a life coach instead, who confirmed, who said, yeah, you need to. And the life coach herself, she's actually ADHD as well, so she was really, really good person to talk to. And yeah, she helped me work everything out at the beginning, and then I started listening to your podcast, and my gosh, it was so refreshing. So yeah, thank you so much, ladies, and I wish Dawn all the best.
Oh, thank you.
And Laura, we ain't going nowhere, girl. And I can't wait to meet you in Manchester. I just missed the last one, so I am definitely coming to this one. I can't wait. But yeah, no, thank you very much.
Thank you so
lovely.
much.
Thank you so much. Right. You know what? I've got a question for Dawn, actually. When these people say all these lovely things, and now the end is near, does it sound like they're talking to you yet?
No.
No, it's very strange, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still something that, it's still hard to accept. Like, I'm getting there. It is slowly starting to sink in, and it's weird. Like, this whole thing's weird, and to know that I'm not coming back to do this next week is really strange. But like I said before, like, I know I'm doing the right thing for me, and I know that I'm finally on my path, and that is like the most exciting thing in the world to me right now.
Yeah.
And so even though there's all this sadness of what I'm leaving behind, it's like it's almost like I don't look at it because I'm so excited about what's in front of me. It's like, finally I can start doing me, start being me, start figuring out who I am and what I want. And that is just like, I feel like a kid in a sweet shop. It's just like, oh my God, I've got all of this and I can choose what I want and I can have anything. And it's like, that is just like, that's how I feel right now. It's like, I can have whatever the fuck I want. It's mine. It is mine.
Can I say one more time? I've never held her against her will. And every single time I've made a joke about kidnapping Nicole, I have never kidnapped anybody. I am not a bully. And I've not held this woman against her will or forced her to do anything. Right?
Nobody has. And this is the whole thing going back to the bloody traffic ticket, the parking ticket that I got today, 50 quid parking ticket. I'm not even sad about that. It's like 50 quid. And yeah, it's like in the past, I'd have been fucking raging. Genuinely, I'd have been so fucking pissed off. This fault, that fault, everyone else's fault. Like, this happened, that happened, excuses left, right and centre. That was my responsibility.
Yeah.
I had a choice. I chose to make the moves that led me to that situation.
Yeah.
And I can finally see that now.
Yeah.
So I have a choice about my future.
Yeah.
I can choose who the fuck I want to be. And
Yes.
that is the most powerful thing that I've owned in my entire life.
Absolutely.
And that's mine.
Can I just say something, Dawn? I think it's beautiful. It actually makes my heart really tingle I don't know, I can't even express it, but it just makes me feel like that's just the most wonderful thing that you have identified in yourself and are following that path and that passion, and you're not leaving us. You'll still be there.
My support will always 100% be here and with Laura, and I want the same for her. I want her to have the exact same feelings I have.
I know who I am and I know what I want and I'm doing everything that I want to do. So why am I not glowing? I'm just fucking knackered.
Because your time is still coming. Because it's probably more stressful for you at this point in time, to be fair. And I agree with Dawn, you are completely meant for this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Completely meant for this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You might not see it, but I can. And I'm sure a lot of people here can too.
Yeah.
So you're fantastic, Laura.
Thank you.
You're fantastic.
Thank you. I'll keep going.
No.
I just...
But do it for you.
I'm always done it for me.
Always do it for you.
I've always done it for me, but I had you as well.
Well, now you don't, so do it for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do it for you. This is
You'll be
yours.
fine, Laura. You've got this.
Yeah.
You've got this. And you can still see Dawn through your kitchen window.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Exactly. I'll be like,
She might even knock on the window.
I'll be walking past, I'm going to the sea. Or
what's that?
Or hanging up my washing. But yeah, this is like this. Like I said, I wouldn't be here without you guys.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're the glue that's kept all this together. And I wouldn't have got my diagnosis. I wouldn't be at this point in my life. Like, I wouldn't have come to any of these decisions without you, Laura.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have, because it would have been another job that I could just run away from and just start again somewhere else and make the same mistakes. But Laura was the catalyst. You were the catalyst in me not doing that.
Yeah, same. And likewise, like I would never have been brave enough to do half of the things that I've done if I didn't want them for you, because I would have had that kind of, being weird and being different and growing up where I did is, who does she think she is kind of a thing. It always makes me wind my very long neck back in. And so, yeah, I look at things and I'm like, fuck, how did I do that? And I did it because I wanted it for you.
Yeah. But
and
you don't need me to get to where you are. You can do this on your own.
Yeah.
Because you are a force to be
No, I
reckoned with.
can't. No, I can't. But I can do it with the help of the community. So thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I love you both.
Oh, thank you so
Likewise,
much.
big love to you all. Good luck fucking editing this, bitch.
She's not done yet.
Fuck my life. I'm not going to lie. This is going to be a cunt. Sorry. I dropped a C-bomb. I'm leaving you with a C-bomb. That's what I'm fucking doing.
And on that note, she dives out.
Fanny first.
Fanny first.
Fanny
Absolutely.
first. That's it.
Mississippi.
Thank you so much, everyone. Genuinely, would not be here without you. It's been an absolute pleasure. Laura, you're a fucking force, and I'm so proud of you, and you are going to go on to smash it, and you have my support every single fucking step along the way.
Absolutely, likewise. I'm not going to try and say any parting words. I said them in the last one, and I'll only cry again. And Kim nearly took me to the brink, so... Thank you for everything.
Love you all.
Yeah, we love you too.
Love you all, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Mwah.
Take care.
Mwah.
Bye.
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 So what a blether.
What a pleather indeed. It was wonderful. It truly was a very, very special night.
Yeah. And it's not the full blether because obviously we've had to edit this down because in true, well, let's be honest, in true, what's our most ADHD thing this week?
Yeah.
It was making an hour and a half blether become 3 hours.
It was 3 hours. It was double the length.
It was 3 hours. So
great work on the editing done.
I've got it down as much as I can with keeping as much in as I can as well. But if you are in the community, then you can watch the whole thing from start to finish.
Yes.
On the community. So it's there. And
well, it won't be there yet, but it will be.
Well, yeah, it will be there very soon.
But you will get to watch it, yeah.
And everyone in the community has access to that. So if you didn't manage to make it along, then you can check that out. And if you're not in the community, but you're interested and want to join and would like to see that video, then please join. The community, as we said, it means everything.
It feels like family, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It really does feel like a family unit. Like, it's cliched. We say nobody knows what it's like apart from the other passengers aboard the late diagnosis roller coaster, but it's actually true. It is actually true. The bond that we share, what binds us together, this is shared experience. There is literally nobody else that really gets it. As different as we can all be.
Yeah.
It's still that knowing, that understanding and the support that can bring.
Yeah, and all of our different experiences together help us understand ourselves as well. And I think that's a big part of it. And me getting to this point in my life where I am, it's this community that's helped me get there.
100%. I think, like, from my end, obviously in the bonus blether where Dawn explains her decision to step down to focus on her studies and to get on her own path, I kind of say my bit at the end. I feel like I've said everything that I need to say. And it's really important for Dawn to say what she needs to say. But I just need to say one thing, just because I have to, is that this is going out on Halloween. And as I said, I wouldn't put any Christmas graphics on the grid until the 1st of November, which is slightly terrifying because these shows are fast approaching. So I'm going to have to get Christmassy on the 1st of November because the first show is on the 8th of December. So yeah, it's basically Christmas tomorrow, guys. So sorry about that, but I have to. Please come along. It's really going to be very, very special. And I'll come back to you with more of that. But for now, I think that Dawn's got some things to say.
I do have a little parting message with you all. But yeah, please go to the live shows. Please continue to support Laura and ADHD AF and the community and the Leopard Print Army because she's worked incredibly hard. And I know that she's going to continue to work incredibly hard. And she's destined for great things.
Oh, bless you. So are you. Absolutely.
But yeah, I've kind of written this down because I'm not very good at on the spot words. Like this morning, instead of saying awesome sauce, I said awesome socks.
I fucking love it though. I laughed so hard. I laughed for hours. It will always be awesome socks.
Oh, so yeah, I've written a bit of a parting message, and there's probably still things that I've missed out on this, but I'm just gonna get it out and leave you to get on with your I don't know, your lives. Shut up, Dawn. See what I mean?
Stick to the script.
This is why I have to have shit written down. But yeah, so when I started this podcast, I was lost. I was desperately trying to find my way in the world, to be accepted. I had no idea who I was or who I wanted to be, but I've always known that I'm capable of more. I chose peace over preference time and again, and I felt like a coward. I pretended to be happy, strong, independent, easygoing, and to not really care, but they were all just masks that I wore to hide the deep shame that I carried. I've spoken about how I struggle to accept the impact that I've had on this community, and I'm starting to understand that a bit better now. I've been dealing with my own struggles through other people. If I can help people so that they don't have to suffer like I have, then maybe I'll feel better. And I love helping people, that's a fact. However, I now realise that the person that I needed to help the most in this world was me. And I struggle to even say that because it sounds like such a selfish thing to say. But I can't help anybody, truly, until I help myself. So that's why I have to step away from ADHD AF. I need to reclaim ownership of my life. It's always been there, but I just didn't know that until now. So thank you to each and every one of you, because without you, I wouldn't be at this point in my life. Seriously. Every listen to the podcast, every donation to our page, every purchase made, every message, every one of you that have come to the tour, people that I've met along the way, all of you have played a huge part in this safari. And I'd especially like to thank Laura. Like, you've been here through all of this. You've picked me up when I've been down and believed in me when I couldn't believe in myself. Even when you thought I was losing interest and that I didn't care. You fought for me, and I will always be grateful for that. I'm gutted to be parting from ADHD AF, but it's not the right time for me. And me staying is doing more damage than good to both of us. However, it's the right time for you, and you're doing incredible things for this community. And I know that you will continue to do so. I might not be squashed up beside you in this tiny little box room going forward, but I will always 100% be by your side, supporting you in everything you do for this community. Thank you. And I guess my final parting message to you all is about ownership. Take ownership of your life. Ownership of your actions, your reactions, your feelings, and your emotions. Own your quirks, your weird, your loudness, your quietness, your too muchness, your not enoughness. Claim it all because it's yours. It belongs to you. Take ownership of your past, your trauma. You're still here because you got through that. That was all you. Most of all, own your ADHD. It may have silently ruled your life until now, but once you understand what it is and what it looks like for you, you can own the shit out of it and be whoever the fuck you want to be. ADHD does not make you you. You make you you. Undiagnosed ADHD cost me an education, and so now I'm taking that shit back. Thank you.
ADHD has females. ADHD AF. ADHD has females. The podcast.
We did it for the acronym.